Was Honda's last generation CR250 two-stroke really the worst two-stroke that Honda ever made? In this video, we're going to dive into that, as well as my 2004 CR250 that I bought for my Throwback Two Stroke garage build shootout. What's going on, everyone? Greg Hitchko here, and today we are talking all Honda. I've got the red flannel on, got the red lighting behind me. It is all red discussion today, specifically about Honda's last generation CR250 two-stroke. I gotta say though, the large majority of the population in the motor world has got to be Honda fans. I mean, how can you not? The sleek designs they always have, ergonomics, red always looks really cool on a bike, and I think we all know it, the I Wanna Ride Honda commercial that came out with Jeremy McGrath.
Let's go.
Enough with me singing, you guys don't want to hear that. But anyway, needless to say, Hondas are pretty rad. My first bike was a 2001 XR100. What was your first bike? Comment below and let me know, because I'm super curious about that. But for all my Honda fans out there, make sure you punch that like button, subscribe to the channel, because I will have a ton more Honda content coming out that you're not going to want to miss. But let's get into the nitty gritty now, guys. 2002 was Honda's last generation attempt at their CR250. Prior to that, the CR250 had a championship winning pedigree in the early to mid 90s with Jeremy McGrath. Mid 90s, 95, 96, that CR250 was the most desired bike probably in the motocross community in that time. 1997, they moved to their first generation aluminum frame. Super rigid, not many people liked it. 2000, they went to their second generation frame, where we saw some improvements there. But in this video, we're specifically talking about the 2002 and above, and this was when Honda made really the last major changes to their CR250 two-stroke model. 2002 was when Honda completely redesigned the bike pretty much from the ground up. They went with a completely new motor, which was called their case reed motor, and it had an electronic power valve. Now, on the dyno, this motor screamed and looked really good. It had super good dyno numbers, but those dyno numbers didn't translate well to the track. And it was mainly due to the problems related with the electronic power valve. It couldn't keep up with the changing dynamic and outputs required of the motor. This new case reed motor pretty much had no bottom end and no torque. That's where people really complained about the motor. Mid-range, super strong. It was super short and super abrupt. And then for the top end, the motor signed off way sooner before it even had a chance to hit the rev limiter. In 2002, the motors also had a pretty notchy transmission, so combine that with the other issues of the CR250 motor, it left it pretty much undesirable. However, let's talk about the chassis now. The chassis was also redesigned in 2002, and Honda considered it its third generation twin spar aluminum frame. It was narrower, lighter, and offered more flex, so what that meant on the track was better feel and control. A lot of people loved this frame. Diving into the suspension now. So before 2002, Honda was pretty much known for the opposite. Their motors were super fierce and fast, but their suspension was pretty much the worst across all of the major platforms of bikes. So for this year, Honda switched over to 47mm Showa forks and Showa shock, and it was a completely game changer for Honda. Everybody loved the suspension. The bike tracked super straight, handled huge landings, and then it also handled the chop with ease. From 2002 to 2007, when Honda stopped making the CR250, this model was pretty much plagued with the same issues. Pretty much everybody complained about the same motor issues, but the suspension and chassis felt great. Moving on to 2003, Honda still wanted to continue trying to improve that motor. So in 2003, they made porting changes to increase top end and over rev. They also switched to an 8-pedal reed valve design, which was supposed to increase the low end power and throttle response of the motor. They also made CDI mapping changes in attempts to increase the power and broaden it across the whole range. There wasn't really any chassis changes, and suspension wise, they really just kind of tweaked spring rates here and there based on what the public was stating from the prior year. In 2004, Honda continued to work on the motor and saw similar changes to that they made in 2003. Porting and reed valve changes, really just looking for more power across the board. But Honda continued to still struggle with this case reed motor. You had to be really good with the clutch on these Honda CR250s, because if you could clutch it and stay in the power, this bike ripped. For the 2004 model, the carburetor also received a new TPS, a throttle position sensor, just to increase that throttle response out of the bike. The 2004 model is also known for an increase in the air boot volume. I know all you Honda CR250 owners know that the air box is super tight, so with this model they tried to increase the volume of that, kind of get some more airflow into the bike as well. Moving on to the 2005 model, and if you guys were wondering if Honda tried to increase the motor, well, they did. However, it didn't prove to be of much success. Even though Honda completely redesigned the cylinder, changed the porting again, and had a new crankshaft design, all designed to increase top end and bottom end power, but the population still felt the same thing out of this case reed motor from the Honda. While the CR250 struggled in the motor department, the suspension was a knockout out of this world. People loved that. And they also made a slight change to the chassis in 2005 too by adjusting the trail. They brought the front axle 2 millimeters closer to the center of the bike, which just really helped in with that turnability of the Hondas. 2005 was really the last year of major changes that Honda made to the CR250, and the 2006 model was pretty much a clone of the 2005 model, other than the company's BNG, which stands for bold new graphics on the bike. Which brings me to the 2007 model. Again, the 2007 model was pretty much a replica of the 2006 and the 2005. The 2007 model did receive BNG again, bold new graphics, but I think the vast majority of the population loved the Honda CR250 just because it was a Honda. Ricky Carmichael still went 24-0 in the outdoor series. Who knows what factory Honda might have done to improve the motor and chassis on that 2002 model to make him feel comfortable on that bike. But if you're purchasing any of these two-strokes, they are not going to be a bad bike. The idea with these guys is to get out there and have a blast on them. So guys, answer me this. Would you say that Honda's last generation CR250 two-stroke was the worst two-stroke that they ever made compared to prior models? Let me know, leave a comment below, because I would love to know your opinion on the Honda CR250. All I know is that I'm excited to dive into the 2004 model that I bought for my Throwback Two Stroke garage build shootout. So guys, let's dive into that now. So here it is, the 2004 CR250. Now I actually picked this up just outside of Murrieta, California. Samantha and I were down there vacationing back in November for a couple weeks, and I was searching like crazy on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace just because there was absolutely nothing here in the Utah area. So luckily I came across this thing on the last day that we were down there, and the bike was for $2,900, which was definitely the cheapest CR250 that has been on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. All these bikes are going for $3 grand plus. I've seen them for $4 grand, even $4,500. So I got the seller down to $2,650 before I went to go look at it. But while I was looking at it, it didn't look as nice as it did in the pictures. So I ended up offering him $2,400. And the seller said he couldn't budge off that $2,650. If I didn't buy it at that price, he had someone else coming to look at it right after me for $2,800. He was literally just scrolling pages and pages of Facebook Marketplace messages of all the people that wanted to come look at this bike. So I feel like I got super fortunate at being able to grab this thing for $2,650. It's going to need some new fork seals, but I'm getting the suspension torn down anyway. It does have a Pro Circuit pipe. It's a little bit dented up here and there, small dents, nothing crazy. I'm going to see if I can get those dents out myself. And I'm also going to pair up with a good buddy of mine, Luke Santos of MX Refurb, and get this pipe looking brand new. You guys aren't going to believe what it's going to look like. So fun fact, there is the electronic power valve on these Hondas, and anybody know what RC valve stands for? And it's not Ricky Carmichael. The RC valve actually stands for remote control valve. So if you didn't know that, that's your fun fact for the day. I'm going to be putting a brand new Electron on that. I got the bike flipped around for us to check out the other side of it. Out of all three bikes that I picked up, the Yamaha, Suzuki, and Honda, the Honda is definitely in the best shape, which I'm pumped about. And actually, I lied, guys. This does have a pretty decent sized dent, but I'm gonna see if I can get that out myself. Hopefully a video to come on that. Gotta love the Pro Circuit. So there it is, the 2004 CR250. If you guys are pumped on this Honda, go ahead and punch that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel because we got bike builds galore coming at you. Next up for the Honda is gonna be that teardown video, guys, so stay tuned for that. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.